Hello everyone, welcome back to the Playwright Automation series. Until now, we have learned how to locate elements and perform actions like clicking and typing the text. But automation is not only about performing actions, right? A real QA engineer also needs to read information from the application and verify like is the information correct. For example, let's take few examples like we see that the is the correct heading displayed, right? So heading text we verify, right? And like if our site has an image or let's say a logo, right? Then we also need to verify that is there a correct image source present, right? So don't worry, we will see the examples for these ones, right? And we also need to see that does a text box contain the expected value, right? When a text box is present, is the value or is the value contained there, is the expected value and the same value? And does it have a correct URL if we have a link, right? So that's how we verify a link. The text should be correct, the URL should be correct, it should be pointing to the right website. Are we able to open the link or not, right? And we also need to verify a few times like are the attributes present or not, right? Let's see all of these with the help of examples, right? So first of all, okay, one more thing you can do is this is not a part of this lecture, just you can change the any theme from here, right? You can select the color theme. Earlier I was having the light theme, but the text was not very properly visible, or you can say that the recording was not so good. But then I selected this default dark theme 2026. You can select any search and select any theme from here. Some are even paid and some are free, so you can go with any of the themes. Right now I have selected this dark 2026 default theme. So now it looks good as compared to earlier. Okay, let's start with the example that we have. First of all, let's go with the text content. So let me write a new test case as always. Test dot only. We will be only executing this text, and we can say that reading text from elements, or what we can write some heading, right? Or we can say that extract any element data. Extract element data, right, in Playwright. And then as always, we need to write one function over here. The format is going to be same, doesn't matter what we are doing. For this one, we just need the fixture page, so we will go with page. We don't need anything from the browser at all, like the last lecture. Okay, so this time let's take the original Playwright website itself. Okay, so let me open one new page. New window. Okay, and bring it to the screen. Okay, now I need to go to Playwright site. Playwright. No, this is the report, the original Playwright site. Let me search it on the Google. Here we go. This is the original Playwright site. So if we open this site, right here, we have this heading on the top, right? So let me inspect this heading. See. So we have used this text content method multiple times, right? Text content is used when we want to extract the text inside a HTML element. Like here H1, right? This is a HTML element, right? And here it is here we have the text present, right, which says Playwright, right? Then Playwright enables reliable. If we fetch the text from here, right, it will display us the whole text, right? Playwright as well as this enables, right, everything from end-to-end testing, right? So what I can do is let me take this h1 element for example, right? So let us write one locator. First of all, let's navigate to this site, which is the very first step of each and every test case that we perform. Await page dot go to method is the generic method we use every time. We go to this URL, right? Once we go there, then what we will do is we will fetch the heading. Constant heading is equals to then same await page dot locator, right? We will locate it, and this time locator we have is h1, right? So h1 dot text content, we want to fetch the text content from there, right? So what we can do is either we simply put in the text content on the screen, or second thing what we can do is we can use a assertion, right? For now, what I will be doing is I will be simply printing this, because this one we have seen multiple times, the text content method. Let me just print it, right? It will get printed on the screen. Okay, second thing is let's go and check that logo over here. We have this logo on the right. See, Playwright logo. Let me inspect this one. Okay, for this one we have the source alt. Okay, so for this one, what is the difference is like if we have a source, right? So the thing is every element, right? Here this image, right? It has source, it has alt, right? So alt is like if the image is not loading, right? We see this Playwright logo text, right? That is what is the meaning of alt over here. And source is where it is pointing to. If I click like from where this image is coming, right? Is the URL correct or not, right? So every HTML element can have attributes, like here source and alt are attributes. They provide additional information about the element. So how do we validate this Playwright logo, right? First of all, we need to fetch this logo, what we say logo locator, right? So what we can use this class, and from this parent class, we can navigate to this image, right? So for that, we have already done that one. What I will do is constant logo is equals to, right, page dot locator. I am just locating this for an now. I am not performing in any action, so I am not using await over here, right? So that is a class. I will use dot navbar logo, and then now I need to traverse from parent to child. So I will just use this tag, right? So HTML tag, which is image over here, img, right? So we have successfully patched that. And now what I can do is I can verify the alt attribute, right? So we can use assertions, await, expect, right? So we have logo, right? So logo to have attribute. The method is to have attribute. So this is using an assertion, right? So, okay, what is the attribute and what should be its value? We need to provide both of the things over here. So if I am verifying alt, right, then what should be the value for the alt? If we see value for the alt is Playwright logo. So I will just copy paste for this for now, right? Playwright logo. That is the one thing. And what if I want to verify the image source, right? I- Is it like is it picking the right image, right? So is the path correct or not? So await, expect, same thing again. Now logo, right? Again, I will verify the attribute. If you see over here, this is also another attribute which is called source, right? And then I will fetch its value, right? So what I need to write is source and the value it is fetching. So let me remove this one from here, right? And I just need to verify the source. Uh, and this, I think it is same now. Yeah, it's same. So now I am verifying is it pointing to the correct image and the source is correct or not. So we can take multiple examples, right? Any element you can fetch from here, like any link. If we see this GitHub, right? Let me navigate to the links we have over here, right? So if I want to check like this GitHub tag is there, is it taking me to the correct URL, right? Is it navigating me to the right screen or not, right? So we can, what we can do is we can extract that as well, right? And fetch the value, and we can verify the value for the GitHub as well, right? So okay, one more thing is, right, we have seen the text content, right? So one more thing, if I click over this search box, right, so if I type in anything, let me write Playwright, right? So if I inspect this one, you won't find that Playwright text that I have written over here anywhere. Instead of this value, it goes inside the value, but it is not present as a text inside the HTML element, right? So here, if I took the previous example for the text content, right? H1, right? It was not present inside the value, but it was present as a present inside the HTML tags, right? If you see span HTML starts from here and the ending tag ends over here. So this is starting tag and this is ending tag, and in between we have this text. So I was able to fetch it using dot text element, right? Text content, sorry. But what if here, right? Here if something is present as a value in any of the text inputs, right? So which method do we use for that? So here, but this thing, okay, because input values are not stored as text between opening and closing tags, the value is stored inside the value property. If you see, if I inspect this one, for this one the text gets stored inside the value property. You see, it is stored inside value property. Anything I write, playwright text, right? Now it is stored as a value. So for input elements, right, playwright provides the input value method. So let's take an example for this one. First of all, what I will do is I will inspect this one and make a click on this one, right? So once I will click, then okay, first of all, sorry, let me fetch this search box. How do I take this search box? Okay, we have this class, we can take this class. So let me inspect this search box. Constant search box. Search box is equal to page dot locator. As I am not doing any action, no need of await over here. I am just inputting the value. Okay, we have this now. So what I can do is now I will make a click on this search box. I just stored this and then clicked on this one. Once it clicks on this one, right here, we get this, right? So this is an input search box now. Let me inspect this and I can fill in the data over here. So we have the class, we have the ID, so we can use ID or class, any of these, right? So what I will do is I will say constant search input box, right? And then again I am storing the value. I'm not performing any action. So simply put in the value over here, right? And now what I want to do is I want this okay, what I can do is I can verify any of the attributes that are present over here, right? So here, which attribute I should be verifying? Okay, we can just verify the, does it have any placeholder? Okay, we can verify this placeholder. You see this text displayed over here, right? Search docs. We haven't entered anything, right? It's already present. What if there is a requirement that this text should be present by default, by the user clicks over here. If I click over here, this text is present by default. And if I inspect this one, I see that this is present under the attribute placeholder, right? So I can verify that the placeholder attribute should have this value. Is the value present or not there over there? So I can write assertion, await, expect, right? Then search input box, right? To have attribute as we did earlier. So what is the attribute? Attribute is placeholder. And what should be the value for the placeholder that the user should see by default is search docs, right? And then what I can do is I can just fill in some text over here, right? Await, and then I have search input box, right? So in search input box, I'm filling, let's say, sample text, right? Any sample text or anything you can fill over here. And now what I will do is I will take that value, right? So what input value that I'm giving, I will fetch that value. So in order to fetch that value, right? So first of all, I need to await because I don't want Playwright to immediately do this action once this code runs, right? Now this search input box that we have, right? I want to fetch the input value. So this is the method for fetching that value, right? As this is not present between the tags, so this is present inside the input value, inside the value. If you see, if I write anything over here, text value, right? It goes inside this value. If anything is present inside this value attribute, the way to fetch that is input value method, right? So now I can write await And then I expect, what do you expect? I expect this input value text that we have fetched, right, to be whatever I am entering. So I enter the sample text. So its value should be sample text. Or what I can do is I can just simply initialize here uh, test test text, and I can send in the value as sample text. So I need not write this again and again. And here simply I enter the value of test text, and here again I can just simply fetch the value test text. Okay, so this is done. So let's rerun it. Just save it and rerun it. npx playwright test. Let it run, and it is trying to enter the value. I think there is some problem with the locator we have used. Let's see. Go back. Yeah, it's trying to search this locator, right? That we have. I think there is some problem with the locator. What locator did we use? Let me try to inspect. Okay, we used this ID, right? Dog search input. It should be able to identify it with the ID. Okay, we can try the class as well. We can give any of these. If one doesn't work, we can simply go with the second one, right? Yeah, it is saying extract element data in Playwright. Error. Oh, placeholder spelling is not correct, right? So maybe it was stuck over here, right? So we were first of all, uh, trying to verify the value, right? Placeholder. There was a spelling mistake. Just save it and press Control C. So you can simply check the error and Google it if you can't, understand it yourself, and then just make the changes. It's really easy. So this one is passed right now. It was so fast and it passed. If you want to see like the text we failed, right, and we can simply, what we can use, we can use some wait, right? Wait for timeout. Let's use 2 seconds. Once it enter the text, so we can visibly have a feel and look of the test case. So I will again rerun this one. This time it will, once it will enter the text, and see it entered sample text, and then it waited for 2 seconds and the test case was done. So do not use these waits. This is just to have a feel and look like whatever we are doing, are we doing it correctly or not, right? So I think that's it for this one now. Yeah. So with this, day 5 is done. We will continue to with day 6 with more elements, like how we will go with more advanced examples. Right now we are just you picking up the locators and clicking, filling text, verifying the attributes, right? Put fetching the text value, input value, right? We saw the difference between text value and input value. But going on next, we will be dealing with more complex examples. Yeah. Thank you.